Right, good morning once again. Just confirm if you can hear me and also to confirm if you are
Good morning,
hearing
sir.
me.
Yes, we can hear you
All right.
very well. Yeah.
Okay, so just to align us to where we are,
Your
remember
turn.
that we have spent reasonable time
Your
on
turn. No worry.
understanding how to use Excel advanced functions to analyze data. And we have also looked at how we can present our findings. And I still want to, reiterate on that aspect this morning. I want to encourage us to also learn how to write your analysis reports. I think it's only Mrs. Jane and Mrs. Blessing that have once done that. Colleagues have not done any form of presentation. So please, this will be the last subject or the last topic in Microsoft Excel. And this topic, like I've highlighted it in the group to ensure that nobody misses this session. But unfortunately, Ms. Blessing could not make it. Though we will start it and finish it probably in our next meeting on Saturday because it's a very important and wide topic in Excel. There are some professional data analysts that uses only this function in all their analysis. So that is to tell you that is a kind of powerhouse of statistical functions within Excel. And as we all know, most of our analysis are based on statistics. So once you are able to master these two, from the beginning to the end, you know how to manipulate it very well. This might just be the tool that you may need to be able to work in an organization that apply Excel for analyzing their data. So we are looking at pivot table. Pivot tables. Can start writing. We are looking at pivot table. That is the topic. So we can write introduction to pivot table because I'm not sure we can complete it in one section because this will lead to creating dashboards. And if you have been hearing one of the most important elements of data analysis is ability to create interactive and dynamic analysis dashboards. So as a data analyst, if you learn the whole of this program and you don't know how to create analysis dashboards, you could be missing a lot. And so many organizations may not even consult you or be comfortable working with you. So it's very important we pay attention to this last topic in Excel. So once we are done with this, we will be entering Power BI. We'll be entering Power BI and following a different order from recent observation. So after Power BI, then we can now focus on the programming languages that are involved in this program, which are Python and SQL. So I'm going from Excel to Power BI, then come back to Python, then round up the training with SQL. Okay, so like I said, we are looking at pivot table. Pivot table, that is the topic of this section. We are just going to start it and then lay a very strong foundation, understand when and why we should use it to analyze data. We also look at some of the benefits which falls under why we should analyze data with pivot table. Look at some technicalities around it, some logic, how you can actually use it for effective analysis. So let's start with the definition. Let's start with the definition of pivot table. Are we still together? Let me confirm again. Are we still together? Hello?
Yes, we are muted. Yes, we are here.
Okay. So let's look
Yes, sir,
at,
we're here.
okay, let's look at the definition. A pivot table in Microsoft Excel, a pivot table in Microsoft Excel is a powerful data analytics tool. Is a powerful data analytics tool used to summarize. So I want you to underline the keywords. Summarize. Used to summarize, comma, organize, and analyze large data sets. So those are the keywords. Used to summarize, organize, large data sets. So just to explain it further, you write notes. Pivot table allows us to perform quick analysis. Pivot table allows us to perform quick analysis without changing the original data. So you can see the benefit attached to it. So like I told us, if you are going to create a dynamic and attractive or interactive analysis dashboard, the best tool to use in Excel is pivot table. Though there is an aspect of it that leads to VBA, which is not part of your training, which is like the programming end of Excel. What it means is that the functions we are going to use here, they are already made function. But somebody who understands VBA can write further function just to automate his or her data system. But the function we have here, they are enough for a data analyst to exploit. So the primary goal here is that at the end of understanding this topic, we should be able to create dynamic and interactive analysis dashboards. And what is dashboards? Like I've once defined to us before. Let me define it. If you have missed the definition of dashboard, I will advise you write it down now again, because that is one of the focus of this entire analysis with the pivot table. So we need to understand what a dashboard is. We need to understand what makes a dashboard dynamic. We need to understand what makes a dashboard interactive. This should be your goal as you exploit or use this particular function. So let's look at the definition of dashboard before I proceed with other necessary definitions relating to the pivot table. A dashboard is a dedicated interface. In this case, we can say it is a dedicated or set aside sheet, different from the sheet holding your source data, just like I have it on the screen. So I can come here and say, okay, this particular sheet I just added is going to be my dashboard. It's going to be my dashboard. So what are we saying is a dedicated or set aside sheet just to communicate or to assemble your findings or your analysis models, to communicate your findings or your analysis models. What are analysis models? Like we are going to find out in a moment. Analysis model are like different containers. Analysis model are like different containers used to explore insights from a given data set. Analysis models are different containers used to exploit insights, used to exploit what? To exploit insights from a given data set. I hope that is taken. I just want to be sure if we got the definitions. Are we good? So I would like quick response so that I want to make sure that the class is interactive. So was I asked question?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Let's be prompt with the answer so that. Okay, so I just wanted us to understand those words so that in the course of the training, anytime I use analysis model, you understand what I'm saying. Each time I use dashboard, you should also understand what I'm saying. So let me just give us a sketch of how a dashboard look like, because that is what we are going to work towards. And at the same time, I will use the sketch to explain the analysis model. So in your dashboard, you could have what we call cards. You could have what we call cards, and I'm going to explain it. Make sure you take note of these important definitions. What do we mean by cards in dashboard development? Cards are a model used to present single metric analysis value. Cards are model used to present single metric analysis value. What do I mean? If I have, let's say I have 900 here, I have 800 here, I have 700 here, and I'm asked to perform analysis that sum them together. At the end of the day, I'm going to have a single value, which could be maybe 3,000, for example. It cannot be 3,000. Where are the mathematicians? This is 900, 800. So if I add 100 here, that is 1,000. This is 17. 17 plus 700. That will be 24. So this is going to give me what? 2,400. Now this is a card, this is a single what? Metric analysis. Because at the end of the day, you are outputting one line of result. That is what card means. So our first analysis in our card should be card. So we are going to be getting summary of some important column in our data. So you can sketch this because this is what we are going to work towards. So you must have an idea of the layout of your dashboard. It's very important you plan the layout. So these are going to be card analysis. All this will be card analysis, which means that single metric summation of some important column. So if I go to the data, for example, where we have a profit column, where we have revenue column, where we have cost column, I'm going to do the summation of each of those important columns as the card analysis at the top of the dashboard. Then under it, I will have main analysis that will give us the breakdown. So this one will be like categorical analysis or comparison analysis. What does that mean? Here, for example, if you have, let me take us to the data set for a while so that we understand the communication. Now here we have profit. So the first card is going to be the summation of all the profit from all the what? The countries. Summation of all the profit from all the country transaction. That is going to be this card. And then the second card here, I am going to analyze the summation of total revenue from all the country as well. So that will be my second card. My third card will be the analysis of total cost from all the country, then my fourth card will be probably summation of all the unit costs, or I can just look for another variable, and that will form my card. Now, what do I mean by comparison analysis that will form the next layout of my dashboard? Now, what you have done here on this card is the total of profit generated from all the country. What about if the organization says that you should break that total that you must have displayed across this card, break them down per categorical value? For example, when I say categorical value, I believe I must have established it. Like sales channel is a categorical value. How do I know? You can say that there are repeated unique value here. Item type, they are also categorical value. How do I know? Because there are also unique values here. So which means that this particular analysis is going to break down the total profit per each of the item type, the unique item type here. So for example, we are going to list baby food as one of the item type, list cereal as another item type, and then another product. So we will list out all the unique products here, and then we will now perform analysis that will summarize the total profits against each of them, so that at the end of the day, we should be able to present a report that give a breakdown of the total profit generated per item type, so that when next the company want to make certain decision, that analysis must have presented the highest products with the highest the product with the highest generated total profits. So when next they want to make decision, when they want to invest their capital, they will be guided. They will know, okay, we have to put more money on this product or that product. That same report must have also informed them the underperforming product, the product that are not doing well. That same report must have also presented the correlation between the products that are doing better and the ones that are not performing. So that they will know whether if the margin is much, then you can now recommend certain maybe step for them to be taken to enhance or to boost the sales of that product. I hope somebody is following, please. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm just trying to give us a picture of what we want to do, because the moment you want to create analysis dashboard, you must understand that the design of that dashboard matters a lot. And the design can only be super when you lay out your models very well. And that is why I said we are going to start by analyzing card, or analyzing with card. In other words, we are going to start by performing single metric analysis that will form our card at the top. And then we will now come down and start breaking it down. So just to explain further, now we are going to be presenting graph also. We are going to be presenting graph. So we are going to be using charts to communicate some of the analysis, because from the beginning, I told us that one of the important of visualizing your report is that visualization brings out the trend, the pattern of your data performance faster than when you are using table. Like here is going to be table model, while this is going to be graphical model. So, and we are expected to use different graph, and at the end of the day, this graph that you are using should have a way of designing the dashboard. Here now is like clustered graph, or what we know as column graph. So I can come here now, I can use a pie chart to communicate. Maybe this particular chart is giving us a breakdown of this card. Why this one, based on priority, this one will be giving us a breakdown of this card. So here I can use pie chart to represent this, and then make sure that they are well formatted with, unique color. All right, so this is typically what? A simple layout of my card. So I'm going to use some technology to see how I can use this same model to perform different categories of what? Analysis. Because that is what we define. So in other words, this particular card, this model can be programmed in a way that it does not perform just one analysis. We can use it to perform analysis for total revenue. We can use it to perform analysis for total profit. We can use it to perform analysis for total cost, which will have led to you duplicating your analysis model. But because you are using a dashboard and you are creating a dynamic dashboard, you are able to use the model you have to perform different analysis. Now, where will dashboard be needed if you are working for organization? Dashboard will be needed where you will be called upon to stand before the stakeholders and perform what we call real-time analysis. That is, you stand before the organization stakeholders and begin to communicate your dashboard, what your dashboard values are saying per time. All of this, you have to be able to communicate them. So remember when we started, there are 3 stages that analysis require: data collection stage, organizing or cleaning your data, and interpreting. Let's make them 4 stages. Data collection, let me just collapse them to 3 stages: data collection and data organization, cleaning. Let's say that should be what? 1 stage. The second stage is where you now perform your analysis with your analytical techniques and statistical what? Techniques. And then the last stage is where you interpret your analysis. That interpretation is the report, is where you collate all your findings, what you fetch out from the data with your techniques and your expertise. So putting them in writing in PowerPoint. That is why I dropped the PowerPoint video in this particular group. I believe you must have seen them. Go through those videos and learn how to use PowerPoint free. Those videos that I gave, about 3 of them, they are videos somebody paid for that I taught via this platform. So, but I gave them to us free so that I don't want anybody to complain that I don't know how to use PowerPoint, because it's a must that you must know how to use PowerPoint, or maybe Canva. If you know how to use Canva, you can as well use Canva, because Canva has a slide system. So you can use any of these for your report presentation. Don't forget, presenting report is very, very crucial. In fact, if you don't know it, sometimes the whole of this cannot be practiced. Because you can perform awesome analysis, and by the time they call you and ask you, what is your analysis saying? You don't know how to use probably PowerPoint to present your report, or you don't even know how to write the report. So that would be a major challenge. So with what I have explained so far, now we can now continue with the pivot table. Now we now understand what our aims are. Our primary aim is that at the end of learning this pivot table, we should be able to create a dynamic dashboard. A dashboard that the value here is not static, it's not fixed. The value here can be regulated. The value here can be changed depending on the analysis you are performing per time. That is what makes your dashboard dynamic. So what makes your dashboard dynamic is that the values of your dashboard can change. The values of your dashboard can change. I hope you are still with me. Okay, let me get a response. Can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. Confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now. There was a little break.
Okay. All right. So I have explained what dashboard is all about. So now we want to continue with the pivot table. Want to continue with the pivot table. In the first place, before you continue with your pivot table, let us quickly look at some of the key components of pivot table. Let's look at some of the key components. Let me see if I can bring out PowerPoint to be itemizing this for us. What are some of the key components of pivot table? Let's look at that. Key components of pivot table. Key components of pivot table. I hope we are taking note of that. Key components. Key components of pivot table. Sorry, please. Okay, so I said let's look at some of the key components of pivot table. Key components of pivot table. Key components of pivot table. So what do we mean by key component? Now, if you are going to understand pivot table very well, you must understand these components. You must understand these components. Because these form the terminologies I'm going to use. So the first one I want us to understand is the first one is row. So anybody who uses pivot table must understand what rows are. So how do we, and we are not just looking at the component, we are going to look at the role each of these components plays. Let's get that right. So you can be writing your notes. Now, the row the row displays, the row displays. Getting a little bit distraction here. So display, the row displays, the row display category, the row display categories vertically. So example, we can have product name, or if we are going by the data we have there, we can have like the country, that is the category. So that is the function. By the time we start applying the pivot table, you will understand clearly what I'm talking about. So because like that second layout where I drew the model that will be presenting the categorical value, like I told us, we are going to list out maybe the country or the product name and then summarize total profit against each of them. So, so that is what that particular element or component will be doing. Now, let's look at the next one. The next one is we are still on the pivot table component. So the next one is the column. The next one is the column. The next one is the column. So what will be the role of the column? So the role of the column is going to be used to display, I hope you are writing now, to display category horizontally. Categories horizontally. Category horizontally. Category horizontally. So example of the field or header we can present with the column. Example will be, if we are going by that data set, it's going to be, okay, we can say, just a minute. Please, I'm so sorry, I need to attend to. Okay, so the column display category horizontally. Example here, if we are looking at that same data set, we can say the column should display region. I think we have region there. So the bottom line is that if you present a categorical data on the row, you are going to have the item listed vertically. If you present the categorical data with the column, then you are going to have the item listed horizontally. That is what we are saying. That is what we are saying. So we just have to understand the difference between the row element and the column element. So we still have another element. All this, I will show us once I'm done explaining them. I will show us are within the pivot table, because all these are within the pivot table. So the next element of the pivot table is what we call values. So what would be the role of the value elements? So the value elements is the data being calculated, So the calculated value, which is, for example, I said we are going to summarize our total profits, because that is where we are going to do summation. That is where the calculation will take place against. So this particular element cannot receive text. It can only receive the values you want to summarize. So example of this, please let me know if somebody is following, please. I need a response. Example of this could be, if we are going with that data set, it can be total profit. I said somebody should reply. Total profit.
Yes, we are hearing you.
Total profit. All right. So then the fourth element, because there are 4 elements that we need to understand when it comes to pivot table. And your understanding about this element places you on, on the advantaging aspect of it. Now, the next one is filter. And what would be the role of the filter? Filter is used to focus. It's used to focus on specific. It's used to focus on specific data. Example of that, we can say show only one region total profit. So you can see the benefit of filter is a very powerful tool. Remember, we just did filter in one of our sessions, but that filter is different. This is the filter tool that is attached to pivot table. So any questions so far on these 4 elements? If there's no question, then we can now go into the application. Question, please. If there's none, then I go straight to the analysis, where we are going to see these 4 elements that I've just explained. Question? Any question?
I'm thinking maybe when you start
The analysis, you will understand it.
maybe I
Yes.
can understand.
It's normal. Okay. Mr.
Maybe
Collins.
somehow.
Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins, if you are here, are you following as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I hope we are taking note of this, because I will be reminding us. Then I will not be coming to the slides. So I believe you must have written down this. If you have not, you can take a shot of it, because I will be coming back here except if I want to reference. So now that we understand the key element or the key component of pivot table, now let's quickly go to the data. The next step is for you to have an idea of the set of analysis questions you want to answer. That is the first thing, not to start activating the pivot table. Once you understand the elements, like I've just explained now, the next is that you look at your data. Remember our principle. We are expected to study and understand our data. Understand the metrics in your data, the value and their types within your data. So I'm going to quickly cite some possible analysis questions that I will be answering with the pivot table. So that is the first thing. So now looking at the data now, all my card analysis question, I am going to be summarizing my first card, I am going to be summarizing total profits realized from all the country. That will be my first question. The second question is, I'm just allocating this question based on the priority. I know that as a stakeholder, I know that their interest will be more on profit and revenue. So you as a data analyst, you must understand where the interest of the stakeholder is or will be more, so that you can perform analysis that will suit their expectation. So I don't come and start analyzing sum of units sold. Yes, that one is also very important to them, or unit price. But what I'm saying is that if you are the owner of this company, you will agree with me that the company will have more interest in their profit, followed by what? Total revenue. So based on that, my first card will be total of this. My second card will be total of this. Probably if I'm going to go for 4 cards, I can put this and then put this, or put this and this. Okay, so you can see how I have been able to what? To assume some questions that my dashboard is going to provide answer to. Because your dashboard is supposed to be answering multiple analysis questions. That is the essence. Now, under that second layer where I have that group analysis or categorical analysis, some of the questions I'm going to be asking there will be, I am going to be summarizing the total profit, per what? Sales channel. So at the end of the day, the company will know, okay, is it online that fetches them more money, or is offline? So that will form one of my body words analysis dashboard. Then I'm also going to be comparing the revenue by the item type, so that the company will know, okay, this is the item or the product that is doing better. And I'm also going to be comparing the revenue or the profit against what? The country and the region. So you can see how I have mapped out some of the analysis questions, so that this is how you reason before you bring in the pivot table, so that as soon as you bring in the pivot table, you have already know what and what you would like the pivot table dashboard or report to answer or to analyze. So now I hope you are taking note of the step. Number 1, you understand what pivot table is one of the most powerful Excel statistical function. The whole of Excel, there is no function that is more powerful than pivot table. It's the highest. And like I said, it's like the powerhouse of statistical functions in Excel. You understand that? 2, you understand the component, the row, the column, the filter, and the value, and they are what? Their role. 3, you look at your data, understand, assume some analysis question that the pivot report will be answering. Then 4, you will now format this data as table. That is the first step. You format this data as table. So what I'm going to do is just to see how we can just create the card analysis, format it, and then we'll stop there. The next meeting, we continue with the body analysis. So now, I say step 4, you format the data as table. Now, what do we mean by formatting data as table? One of the way I am going to prove to us that this data is not formatted as table is to check if I want to print it. I'm going to be seeing the grid line. So if you go to File and select Print, go to File and select Print, you will discover that what? This data is not formatted as table. This is purely what? Column or row entry. I don't know if anybody is seeing the screen. Can you see that? This is not table. If this is table, what I will have seen is that I will have seen the grid line, the horizontal line, the vertical line, grouping, or bisecting each other. Is anybody following? I hope you are following.
Yes.
Okay. So now that I've confirmed that this is not a table, because why do we need table? Why do we have to format any data we want to use for pivot table analysis? Can you see the word pivot table? Which means that what? It works better with a data set that is acknowledged as table. that has table format. One, the reason is that it enhances updation. The updation here means that if after my analysis today, by tomorrow the company enter more information, does it mean that I will come back and start performing the analysis? The answer is no. If you format it as table, Excel will automatically capture new entry. And those entry, the moment they are entered, all the pivot table operator need is to refresh the pivot report or the dashboard. Once he or she refreshes it, then all the new entry will be calculated also in the data. So why do I need to format as table? So that to help Excel to update the pivot report subsequently. That is the essence. So we'll now write step. How do we format this as table? Is another skill you need to have, since it's requirement. Since it's the requirement, so you need to know how do we now format our data as table. Now, to format your data as table, select the entire data. So starting from here, click here, then hold down the control and the shift, press the right arrow button. That will highlight the entire data vertically. Then while you are holding down the control and the shift, press the down arrow button, and that will what? So it was not properly pressed. So let me take it again. Right, so you can see that with this, I have highlighted the entire data what area. So after that, you will now go to insert. After that, you now go to insert, go to home. So from home, you now come to where you have format as table. So the moment you click on the drop down, you will see different preset formats. These are formats that Excel have already previewed for you and I. So some of them will have vertical lines, some of them will not have. Some of them will be modeled as 3D objects like this, but I prefer this one. So click on any of this, and then you see that what the appearance of this data changes. So which means that this is where we are going. If I click outside now, let's say I come tomorrow, I enter any other information here. You see that the moment I tap it, what happened? That format automatically what? Enters it. So which means that it will update. So though as at the time you were formatting as table, you stop at where the data stop. But that does not mean that if you start further entry, it will not, the format of your current table will not affect it. That is what I just showed us now. I hope somebody is following. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now remember the step. I hope you are writing this sub-step. Format the data as table. So once you have done that, now we want to go for the pivot table now. You highlight the entire data again, and then you go to insert. From insert, we have this option, Let me break it down. If I go with this option, pivot table is categorized under the manual method. And the manual method means that you, as the data analyst, we manually model the report with the headers in the data set. But if I go with this is like automation. This is just like a system where Excel must look at the data automatically and capture some possible analysis for you that you can look at and see if they correspond with what you intend to do. You can just absorb them. But where they do not correspond, what do? You re-engineer them. And that is why I am going to start with this, because the knowledge of this is what you need when the recommended option gives you a report that does not align with your intention. You can now use the knowledge here to re-engineer it. So I'm going to start with this. So if I click here, you now see a dialog box given to you like this. So I'll take some time out to explain this dialog box to us. Look at the category option. Choose the data that you want to analyze. So and you can see the data is already highlighted, which means this is the data. So you don't need to tamper with this place. The next aspect say what? Use an external data source. Use an external data source. So which means that if you are working in a company where they have their data somewhere stored in the cloud, if you choose here, what it will happen is that it will allow you to connect, and then you don't have connection found. So you will not have to what? Find a way of establishing the connection. The company must have given you the link, and if such data is available, the link will be available. But in this case, we are not going with it because we have our data right in here. So let's go to the next section that says choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Professionally, it is not ideal that your pivot report and your source data reside in the same sheet. That is why we created a dashboard sheet. So I can say, okay, this report is coming to what? A location. So I can click here instead of what? New worksheet, and then click here, and then go to the dashboard, and then click somewhere here. This is where I'm going to write maybe the type of data I analyze. Let's say what? Sales inventory data. So I'm leaving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to describe my dashboard. So let's say I want it to be here. You see, as soon as I click here, what Excel is going to do is that this is where the pivot table should be. And then you click OK. That is what you need to touch. Now you now see that what the pivot table automatically comes to my dashboard instead of being in my what? Data set. Let me pause and find out if everything I've explained is clear. Let me get a response before I proceed, because we are entering the important part now. I need a quick response. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you are still celebrating Easter.
Sir, please explain this last.
I should explain. Sorry, I wasn't hearing you. Can you hear me now? Let me see if
Please, can you show how you move this thing to here again?
how I move this pivot table to this place. Is that what you are asking? Yes or no? Sorry, maybe I.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His network. Yes.
Okay. Now look up. Look up. Let's come back here. Let's come back here. Remember, I advised us that professionally, your report should form a dashboard, and that dashboard should be a different sheet from where you have your data. So we have already made the requirement. We have formatted the data as table, and now we have highlighted the whole of the current data. And then I went to inserts. Are you following? Then from insight, I click on this.
Yes, I'm following. I'm following.
Good. I click on this option, not here. I'm coming back to this one. So I click here, and then it brought out this dialog box. And then I move from this one to this. And then I put my cursor here, and then I went to my dashboard and click where I want to add it. Let's say what I want to add it here, and then I click OK. So you can see that I now have two different words.
All right, got it.
Is it clear now?
Okay, got it. Yes, very
now. Okay, so now the next thing I want to teach us is, remember we talked about the pivot table elements. Now, Jane, you were saying that maybe when we start the practical, now these are the elements. Can you see them here? These are the things I explained there. Columns, value, row, and what? Filter.
And filter.
Good. So that is why I wanted us to understand them. Look at them here. Because if we don't understand them, and I said this one and this one, the row and the column, they are for displaying what? categorical data vertically and horizontally. Why this one is for displaying the calculated value. Why this one is to focus on a particular what? Value. For example, we said we want to see only what? Profit from a particular region. Okay, now I want you to observe, if you are not on any of these pivot report that is saying to build a report, choose field from the pivot table field list. This is the field list. If you are not on this session will not be active. Let me step out now. You see that part has gone. It is only when you select a pivot report that you can access them. Apart from that, you can mistakenly come here and click on this option. If you click here, even though you are on it, you will not be seeing it until you come here and activate it. I hope that is taken, because I know sometimes somebody can mistakenly check this, and then you could be clicking and you are not seeing it. And if you cannot see this, you cannot generate the report. Now remember that we want to create our card at the top, because right now we have activated the pivot table, but we need to analyze. That is why I was telling us that we need to understand what exactly we want to analyze by assuming some analysis questions before coming here. Because if you rush to this place without knowing what you want to do, so it will not be here, you will not start thinking, what will I analyze? But thank God that we have already mapped out what we want to do. Those card analysis that will be at the top, single metric analysis. So what I want to do is that I'm going to output total profit. Total profit will be the first card. So what I'm going to do is that select the pivot table and then turn on, just click on it like this. It will give you the analysis of the total profit. So the summary of everything you have here, that is what the function has calculated. If you add all the value you have here, all the values you have here, that is what the pivot table has calculated as card. Now you can now redefine the card. You can format it. It's very important. This description, the sum of total profits, you can redefine it. Just click on it and say what? If it's not descriptive enough, you can re-edit it. You can delete parts you don't want. Then we will now format this value to be at the center of it. You click and come here. You see the way I am positioning it, or better still, you put it under it. Because this is a dashboard, it must look appealing. It must be interactive. Layout matters. So I will now come here and say, okay, this background, I'm not okay with it. I will now come here and say, okay, I want to use a particular color. Now, the beauty of dashboard is that sometimes it's not by using multiple colors. You can decide to use just 2 colors or just 1 color and blend it with white and black, which are not to be counted. So my value, I would like to format the value. Maybe I'm using just 2 colors. So it's either yellow or this. Then the text color will be white. And then I'll bold it, and then I can increase it if I want. Then I'll also increase it like this. So let's say this is my card. That's the first card. Now, I have another one I want to answer here, and I'm going to be leaving some space. Look at what I'm doing. I'm leaving this space to make each of them to stand out, and is a calculated design. So the next card will start from here. So let's go back to our data now. What is the next analysis we want to perform? The sum of total revenue. So I will make sure I select the data, go to the insight, then select pivot table, then choose the location, click inside here, go back to your dashboard, pick exactly where you want it, and then click to add a pivot table there. So it's saying that we already have a pivot table here. So let's just analyze and drag it here. So now we do what? We are summarizing total revenue. So I'll make sure that I'm on it and then go and locate where I have total revenue. So I've also got to that answer. So I can take it up a little here. We cannot make this change because the selected cell is affected. Okay, so Let me see. Let me turn it off. Because I want to make sure that we have the same alignment. See if I can have, trying to have better alignment. Okay, so where do I have it? Okay, so let me just perform the analysis. I'll know what to do. So now, in fact, let me just
Maybe you can delete
yes,
it now.
I want to delete the entire.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's quickly go this way. I want to make sure that I maintain the alignment, so I'll click on the right place when I'm back. So the same thing, go to Insert, select what pivot table, go to Existing, click here, then go back to the dashboard. This time around, pick the right place. Good, so you have it aligned. Let me take off this. Then we are analyzing total revenue. Good. Now, this same format that you have achieved here, instead of you starting all over, so I can also click here and take off this. I don't need too much description. And then probably is saying that this particular header is the same thing as what you have. So when you have this kind of issue, you just add underscore in between here, just to make it different, so that will allow you. So now we copy this same format to format here. So I'll click here and then go back to home as usual, select format paint, and then click here. You have already formatted this. Then click on this as well. Go to Format Painter and then touch this. I just want that uniqueness. So like I said, it's not about, adding plenty colors. You just have to make sure that your work is unique. And as you are working, we need to save. We need to save because we might continue from where we stop in our next class. Now, we are still answering card result or card analysis. Card result and card what? Analysis. So now we remember that I'm leaving this amount of space just to demarcate the card. So I will try to leave that same equal space. Make sure you gauge it. And then the next card analysis I want to perform is the summation of all the total units sold. All the total units sold. So the same thing, go back to Insert, select the pivot, click on Existing Worksheet, click inside here, go to the dashboard, tap here, and then click. And then go and activate total what? Units sold. And then the same thing, just to make my description very simple, I take off what? Collins, hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So total units sold, and then take the format again. Take this, go back to your home. So you can see that I'm retaking all this, so it shouldn't be a problem. Then click here again, click here, and then click. Then you can adjust your row. All right. So you can take time to design this interactive and attractive dashboard. Then if you are on Facebook, you are on WhatsApp, you screenshot it and post it there that this is one of the dashboard you just created. This is your analysis dashboard trying to answer this question, that question. If you need the service of a data analyst, you have to be marketing yourself. It's very important. That's why you have to go to LinkedIn, create an account there, have an account on YouTube, you do short analysis. Just sit down within your house, look for a very good background, and then talk something about say something about data, the data you analyze, the insights you derive, you know, short video, short content, post them. Start marketing yourself if you are looking for a remote job. So let's create another card. Another card is, like I said, I'm just going to work on card today. And then so that the next class we start creating the body analysis and probably conclude the topic properly. So now I go back to the data. The next analysis I want to perform, another card, is I want to sum up the unit costs, the sum of all the unit costs. So the same thing, select the data. Don't know if I'm still selecting the data. Okay, let me select again. Select the data, go to insert, select what pivot table, come to existing worksheet, click inside, go to the sheet, your dashboard. Then I would like this one to be here. And then click what? Okay. Then remember that we have to also try and get that same amount of space. We'll see what we do later. By the time we paint all these places with a color, you see the design will come out. Now, we are analyzing the sum of units. Is it unit profit or unit price? Okay, let me just take this. And then the same thing, I can shorten the description if I want. So let's say I am putting a total units this, then take the format also, go to your home, then click here again, take the format, good, then expand the column a little, then Control S, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me create, I just want enough card here so that my report, the other report, will have enough space to have my graph and other table so that I will not end up squeezing them in one location, right? So let's just make sure that we finish all the card analysis today. So the next card analysis I want to perform is, I don't know if I've done for unit sold. Yes, I've done for unit sold. Unit what? Price. So let's do for, I don't think we have done for unit cost. So we have unit cost and what left? Unit cost and yes, we have unit costs, but I am going to do something. Okay, so let's do for units. So we're doing for two more. We're doing for total cost and unit cost. So let's go back to insert. In fact, nobody should give an excuse because it's like we are repeating almost everything. Now you click here, then go to the dashboard, select where you want the next one to come. So I would like it to come, so I'm going to leave this. I'll put it here, then click, then choose my field, unit cost, and then the same thing, shorten the description if you want. This could be total unit cost. Then copy the format. Let me try and gauge this, have the same space. Copy the format, click here, and then keep it here. Then click here, copy, and then done. So let's look at the last one. So let me adjust this. Last one is the total unit, what is it called? Total, is it unit? Yeah, unit cost, total unit cost. So the same thing, go to insert, select pivot, choose this option, click in here, go to the dashboard, specify the location, click, and then choose, we are choosing unit cost because we have done for total cost. And then let it not be that it's the same thing we're analyzing. It's like it's the same thing we're analyzing. It's like we have even analyzed all of them. Let me check, I'm getting the same value. I think what is left is total cost. What is left is total cost. So let me pick total cost. Okay. So So I will have to add underscore here just to make it different. Then transfer the format, go to home, this, click here, this. So with this, we have now finally, before we close, we are going to write a description here. So when somebody gets here, the person will know, oh, this is exactly what you are doing. So I will use word art text. I'll go to insert. We have touched some of these things before. Go to word art text. And then I will describe the type of analysis, the data analyzed. So I can say, this is sales inventory data analysis. So I will say sales. Make sure that your dashboard gets here before the next class. It's compulsory. Everybody must get here. If not, that class will not hold. Now, sales inventory or sales report. Okay, let's say sales inventory analysis. That is what you are performing. So you carry it and put it on top here. Carry it from the bottom if it's not going from the top. Then reduce the size. Make sure that it's at the center of all of them. Then we can work on the color, the set of color we are using. Don't use too many colors. Expand it a little. Then you can now go to internet. Let me show us some things you can do that will make your dashboard very creative. Let me go to internet and show us something. Sometimes when you see some dashboards, some persons put this icon, you should know that they are only trying to entice you. They are trying to make their dashboard interactive. So if I come here and say what? Sales. Just type sales. And then just hope that the internet should browse fast. So while I'm waiting for that, okay, it's coming up now. So I just type sales. Okay, so I'll now go to image. I'll just go to image to see if I will get a picture that represents this. Okay, so while I'll come back to it, so while that is going on, let me formatting. So I will highlight the whole of this down to where it stops here, maybe here. And then you go to this bucket, give it a fit color, maybe something like this. Please confirm my audio again. Are we good? Confirm my. All right, so you can see what I'm trying to do here now. So I want to format this with maybe you look at the color that will go. You have to do your calculation very well. Don't use the same color. Just use, let me say, I want it to be like this for now. Because all these spaces, when we are done, we are going to format them with, maybe you can now use that color. You can now use that color to form a good design. So you have to take time to make sure that your dashboard is very attractive. So these are things you have to sit down and calculate. So all this is to make this stand out. Let's go for our image to see whether they are out. Okay, so we have some images that represent 6. So I can decide to take what, any of this. So let's say I want to take this picture. So you take your time to get good pictures, store it on desktop or anywhere. So let's say 6. And I want to call that picture in my report. So that when somebody gets, I want to put that picture here. So there are some analysis where you have to attach some, maybe like monetary icon, like money icon, naira icon, all those money icon that show that, okay, you are dealing with money. You can attach them to where you are putting those results. Like here, and I can put money icon here, put money icon here, put it here, or align all these things to the right and attach the icon. So we'll do one so that you understand it. So how do I bring that picture? So I'll go to insert. Remember that we added the picture to go to illustration, go to from picture, because we have downloaded it and saved it in our local storage desktop. This is it. Then I'll just click OK. Then I have the picture here. So what I'm going to do is to turn it to a round shape, reduce it due to where you want to add it, and then you can just put it here, put it here. So let me remove it from, because I need it to stand out. I want it to stand out. Okay, so you can decide to have it attached here. So that as soon as somebody gets here, we know that, oh, this is your dashboard and you are dealing with what? Analysis. So let's go back there and download that money icon, because this is the last part we are taking. So let's just make sure that we understand this. So I can just say what? Money icons. Money icons, like all any of this symbol. I can go to email so I can see much of them. So I can choose, okay, I want to use this one, this cycle. So I can say, okay, I'm taking this. So right click and then save it. Desktop also. Hope we are following. Somebody should mute and comment, please. I want to make sure that we are following. Money icon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Money
Yes, sir.
icon. Then I go back to my Excel. I want to attach it. So I will highlight this and probably align it here, because I want to have the money icon coming before the value. So I'll just change the alignment. Change the alignment. Okay, so let's bring out that icon. Go to insert, go to illustration where it's collapsed like this, from picture, and then money icon, you bring it here. So now you reduce it, let it be very small according to the right of there. So you can decide, let's see if we can put it. So you can zoom it so that you can see it, then reduce it and put it here. So, but my challenge is that it's forming a different background that will end up not making the work, the color. So sometimes you have to consider the color you can search for. Okay, so let me see if I can. If I click here, that's gone, too small. Let me click, I'm trying to click on the one that the edge will be soft, that will not be too obvious. Let me expand this. It's there, but you can go. It's okay. Let me just use it. So you can download. When you are downloading, take your time to look for the one that goes with the background you are using so that everything will blend. So let me just take this. So you can Control D to copy and probably attach it to them all. So most time, if you know probably graphics app, you can go there and remove the background, save it as pure JPEG or PNG so that it doesn't come with background, and attach it. So I'm just showing us how you can add this icon to this value. And remember that we should also know how to make this monetary value by coming here by adding this. See what I did now? Because we have to add a comma to separate the million from the thousand. So general presentation is not the best. So make them monetary value, click on them, then add this, use this comma style, use it to format them, and then use it to format all of them. But it's after the analysis that you do this. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So this is where we are going to stop. So your classwork is that before the next meeting, like I told us that this is not optional assignment, it's compulsory assignment. As a matter of fact, if once you are done with your own before Saturday, I doubt it if we are going to meet this coming Saturday. Well, let me see, because I have a church program, but I will see what I can do, if I can have the class first, or I don't think the class will go. It's going to be like a Monday like this. So now, before then, please make sure that you create your dashboard, everything that we have learned, get to display. You can use different set of colors. It mustn't be my color. So any question, please, before we end the class? Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir. That means the next class, that's when we are going to the graph.
Yes. The next class, we will just start from this side here. We are going to do that categorical analysis, where we are going to, this is the kind of analysis we'll do in next class. We'll do the main and the breakdown analysis, where we'll have graph coming, all of that. That is what we will do, another analysis entirely. But today we have completed the card. So that's why I'm saying that everybody should get here, so that once I'm done with the next class, you can go and update your dashboard as well. Hope it's clear.
All right, so.
Any other
Yes.
question?
So.
All right, Jane, hope you are good. Not if Jane is here. Okay, so do enjoy your holiday. Bye for now.
You too, sir. Thank you, sir.